Hello and welcome to episode 84 of
The Eldritch Podblast.
I am Margaret.
I am Jack.
Hello.
Hello.
I clapped us in. Forgot that I was doing the intro.
Yeah.
Did you see? I clapped us and then I just went straight back to...
There was a moment of nothingness.
Yeah, there was a moment of nothingness.
There was a moment of nothingness.
My life.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm okay. I think maybe that was a bit too low for
I think it
like...
needs maybe pointing down slightly towards your face.
Yeah.
There we go.
A little bit too low for not reading.
Little Margaret.
Yeah, yes. That is I.
Tiny
Tis
midrat.
I.
Tis I.
Tiny
midrat. And I think my favourite name,
yes,
I think was...
Oh, for Batwolf. Can you see
Yeah.
Batwolf, by the way?
Yeah.
Batwolf sits on my knee. That's where Batwolf sits.
I liked Hex.
Hex. I really liked Hex
It's
as
thematic.
well.
It's, you know, D&D related.
Matt, you know what? I was
A
gonna
little bit spooky.
Man, I was gonna compile a list of all the suggestions.
I mean, I looked at them all.
There was like Countess like von Wolfenstein or something like that, which
Von
I
Wolfenstein?
like, which I absolutely can get down with. Yeah, we should
Maybe
definitely.
I think Countess von Wolfenstein is maybe a mouthful for every time we say
no,
it.
wrong.
Okay.
Wrong.
Okay.
Wrong.
Okay. It does roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
It does.
There was some great ones.
Some would say effortless.
Oh, effortless. Go on. Say Countess. Oh my god.
Go on. Yeah.
Countess von Wolfenstein 5 times fast.
Countess von Wolfenstein. Couldn't even do it once.
Countess von Wolfenstein. Countess von Wolfenstein. Countess von Wolfenstein. Countess von Wolfenstein. Countess von Wolfenstein.
Von Wolfenstein.
What do you reckon?
Von Wolfenstein.
What do you think?
How is everyone?
How are you doing?
How's it all going?
Has
How's
the
it
entity
been?
taken...
Your life
No?
yet?
No, entity hasn't taken over fully yet. Okay, all right, okay. Well, that's strange.
That should have happened by now.
Yeah, I was expecting at this point in the journey.
The entity did tell us that 84 was the deadline.
Yeah,
so I don't want to say that the entity's slacking.
Well, no, the entity works in mysterious ways. You know, we don't get to question the entity.
No.
If the entity spared your life, then good for you.
Do I want to say I'm becoming not a believer?
Yeah, am I losing my faith?
Am I
in,
losing
the
my faith in the
entity?
entity? I don't want to say yes.
Feels like ages since we've sat down and recorded.
It's because we're actually on a really good recording schedule.
Yeah, we are.
And we record Thursday, we record Friday, and then there's just a week. And obviously in that week we went to con.
Yeah, well,
so it feels like a million things have
It
happened.
feels like a million years since we last did any of this,
Yes.
right? I think purely because we went to London for Comic-Con.
We went to London.
We went to London.
The Big Smoke.
The Big Smoke.
I went to obviously take my car in for an MOT like the day before or something.
Mm.
And the guy called it the Big Smoke.
Did he actually?
Yeah. And I was like, you're so old.
He wasn't
old. He wasn't old, boy. But yeah. And then I just keep calling it the Old Smoke because I like to sound as old as possible.
Is it the Old Smoke or the Big Smoke?
I don't know. The Big Smoke. He's the old boy who said the Big Smoke.
Oh, got you.
And I like to be as old as possible.
Yeah.
If I can act old, I will.
No, agreed. Yeah, agreed.
I like being old.
Yeah, but you know what? I like being old too.
I feel like I've been old at heart for so long.
I think we both have, really.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've both been quite old at heart.
I feel like we grew out of like
fun things.
Fun things.
Fun.
Yeah, but you know, going out and drinking all the time and stuff like that. We just like being together, playing games.
Agreed.
Or being together, watching movies.
Yeah, like,
being with the dog.
Yeah, being with the dog. Being at home with the dog.
Playing some games.
Yeah, playing some games, not doing much.
Chilling
eating.
out.
Yeah.
Just, you know, living my best life at home.
At 30.
Well,
this is what 30 looks like, huh?
You're not quite 30
I'm not quite 30. I'm very, very soon to be 30. I think by the time this goes out, it's like 2 weeks or maybe 1 week.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
Birthday.
You're pretty close.
Yeah.
Do we release an episode on your birthday?
Yeah, we do. Monday.
Yeah, we do, don't we? Yeah. Yeah, when this goes out, it'll be 2 weeks from your birthday.
Yeah, wild. Insane.
I want if we don't have 100 comments saying happy birthday on your birthday, I'm going to be
Go on.
I'm going to be severely disappointed.
Oh, you don't have to do that. I'm just a little worm.
You do. Campaign now.
I'm just a little worm.
I want a campaign 2 weeks in advance that we have to get 100 comments of saying happy birthday to Margaret.
No, it's not true.
Yes, we do.
It's not true.
And I just want to say, ever since we did the whole 50 comment campaign back in the day.
Back
in ye old times.
Oh, interesting.
You know,
back when the mechanic was born.
long ago.
Yeah.
But just when we invented the wheel.
Yeah.
every video basically gets 50 comments now, which is
amazing. Which is amazing.
Unreal. And it feels
Thank
like
you.
there's like a reason to like engage with the video.
Yeah,
we've been very close to 100.
We have been very close a couple of times. Yeah.
So I'm not going to ask again because I shouldn't have to.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Jack. Oh my god. Are you all right?
100 comments.
Oh.
Especially on Margaret's birthday.
No.
If we don't get 100 comments on Margaret's birthday,
no.
it might as well just be over.
No.
It might as well just
I don't want to
finish.
hear it. I don't want to hear it.
So
yeah,
couple of bits to talk about.
Yeah, well, con, really, isn't it? Comic-Con, right?
Con.
Like that's really the main thing we have to talk about.
We went to Comic-Con.
It was amazing.
It was unreal.
It was so much fun. So we only it goes from Friday to Sunday, but we only went the Saturday and the Sunday.
Yeah.
Which going. Oh, no, man.
What are you doing? I can't believe you would swear in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I've never done
No,
that.
no, never. No. I would definitely go probably Friday, Saturday next time because it was so busy.
Yeah,
It
I think leaving on the Sunday like early when everyone's still at con, you already having had 2 days. Because obviously going home, it wasn't even too bad, but there
was a lot of people. And what
we
we
were
did
going
was,
home at like rush hour as well.
Yeah, like we left here the northeast on the Saturday morning.
The northeast of England.
Northeast.
Northeast.
We left like on the Saturday, so we got to Comic-Con like as it was opening, basically. Well, no, a bit later.
No, it was a bit. We got there about 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we still had like 6 hours of con.
To be fair, when we got the after party stuff, so we stayed till like 8. And then the Sunday we left obviously on the Sunday after it had shut, basically. So yeah, I would definitely do the Friday and the Saturday next. But
it was my first ever con. Margaret's been to a few. It was amazing.
It was so good.
It was so brilliant to just be around other people who just like each other.
Yeah.
And just have the same interests.
God.
And just walking around and just like seeing everything and seeing the people dressed up and just seeing the stalls and all the beautiful like, creators.
The love in that place.
The
like,
love is
unbelievable. Everyone is so nice to each other. Everyone like wants to compliment each other. Everyone wants to meet each other. Everyone wants to like say good job to each other. There was so many people handing out free stuff. It was amazing.
Like the only thing I can compare it to, but I think the love is actually more is I've been to like lots of heavy metal festivals, Download festivals, Sonosphere, Slam Dunk, and everyone at those, they all sort of want to be friends because like I don't know, you're a little bit alternative. You like sort of the same music, and everyone's there to just have a good time together and to look out for each other. I think con actually takes that to like another level.
I agree. No, I agree with you.
Appreciation for each other. I
totally agree with you.
It was great.
And it's strange, isn't it? Because like D&D is our life, right? Like that is like one of the big pillars of our life now is D&D, and to meet other people who care about it just as much as you do, it is amazing. And it wasn't just that, like everyone was just so nice.
Yeah, we met a lot of you.
We met so many of you.
We met so many of you.
It was unbelievable.
This is our first like thing that we've done since we started the podcast, where we would be in the same place as other people who might watch it.
Yeah.
And we were like, do you reckon anyone will recognize?
Yeah, because we were like,
you think those things?
We were like maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah,
right.
And we walked in.
I went to go get a corn dog.
We were hungry because we hadn't really eaten, so we went to get a corn dog. We stood in the queue for the corn dog. We've been in con for about 4 minutes, and somebody ran up to us and was like,
well, I locked eyes across the room with someone dressed as Imogen from Campaign 3.
Yeah.
So I saw her and I like smiled and waved, being like, I love your cosplay. And she came over and she was like, they were like, I suppose,
are you from the Eldritch Mountains?
And we were like, yeah.
We were like, yes.
Yeah, we are,
yes.
yeah. And it was just wild all weekend.
It
we
was
were recognized all weekend, which was insane. And you were all so incredibly sweet.
All of you were so lovely. Thank you very much for saying hello.
So kind. Thank you for everyone who wanted photos.
Yeah.
I would like to publicly apologize to maybe like the 4th or 5th person to come up to us.
Yeah.
They were like very excited to see us, and we were very excited to see them. And we were talking. They were like, "Oh my god, I had no idea you'd be here." At this point, right, I didn't really necessarily know what to say to people because I've never been recognized like that before. And I just went, British. And I walked away being like, kill me. Put me on a spike and kill me.
Yeah.
So to that person who probably thinks I'm really, really fucking strange, terribly sorry.
Yeah, you know,
British.
It's tough, innit? Because like
British.
people come up and they're like, "Oh, are you from?" And you're like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And then it's like, where does the conversation? So you know, like as the weekend went on, we got definitely better
at talking to people.
Talking to people.
But just thank you.
Yeah.
We really appreciate the fact that first of all, there's enough of you to recognize this out in public. Insane,
wild craziness.
You're all so kind and so sweet and
wonderful.
so funny.
Yeah.
And thank you. We really felt the love.
We did. We really felt the Podblast love.
Yeah.
We really felt it.
Very much so.
We appreciate everyone who came and said hi.
We bumped into Nat from the Discord.
Yeah,
Nat is someone who's like
Discord,
like quite often in watch parties and stuff like that. So we talked to them beforehand, and we knew that we were going to be there at the same time. I think Nat was like the second person.
Like we were just stood waiting for our friend that we were meeting there.
Yeah,
and then Nat came over and was like, "I'm Nat." From the
and we were like.
So we spent the entire day with Nat.
Well, we did that thing
awesome.
where we were like, we're waiting for our friends and we don't know where they are. And Nat was like, I've lost my friend. So we were like, shall we just stand together?
So there was mutual interest in the Podblast, but also in the fact that neither of us had friends.
None of us had friends.
None of us had friends.
But even after that, after we kind of met up with everyone, we kind of were just doing similar things that day.
Yeah, we were just hanging out, mooching around.
Yeah, if you're watching that, it was wonderful to meet you. It was really great. It was good fun. We met Izzy, one of our mods.
Yes.
That was absolutely wonderful as well. Like, it's so weird because obviously we talk to our mods a lot, right?
Yes.
And it was just like meeting an old friend.
Yeah.
Like, it was very nice. There was, you know, when you meet someone, when you meet someone like an online friend for the first time, you're like, how is it gonna go? Felt exactly the same. Probably because we sit, like, you know, I talked to Izzy loads.
Yeah,
like it was great fun. It was good fun.
And there's somebody that we would like to shout out.
Yeah.
On the Sunday we met Alan first. Alan stopped us while we were walking around Artist's Alley and was like, oh my god, you're from that podcast? And we were like, yes.
The thing is, you never want to assume. So when someone stopped us, we didn't know if they were going to be like, do you have the time? Like, do you know where this is? So we never wanted to assume and be like, oh. So we were also like, But
yeah, we met Alan, and Alan said that his wife was a big fan of the podcast, so we went to meet his wife. We were looking for some dice, so I bought some dice from their fantastic little stall there.
Yeah.
His wife's name was Julia.
Yeah.
I want to give her a shout out because they run two businesses which are absolutely fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They have a
it's like a D&D club, right?
Yeah, it's like a D&D club where they run like campaigns for people who maybe like can't find a group,
and
or things like that.
Alan was saying like specifically like because we talk a lot about social issues in D&D.
Yeah, like how it can be hard for minority groups to integrate into, especially stranger groups.
Definitely.
Because when you play online, like it can be tough, and those things can be like tough to navigate.
Yeah,
as we've mentioned a million times on this podcast.
Very much so.
Yeah, Alan runs D&D groups for people like that.
All sorts of groups of people. And Alan was so incredibly kind and said thank you. To which we say, like, it's the least we can do.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Thank you for watching us.
Yeah, if we can just help in any way at all, then
navigate a tough situation,
then that's enough.
Yeah.
And shout out to Alan for running something like that, for having like a little, like, I don't know, like a geeky kind of club type place where
100%.
you will take people in. You will allow spaces for women, for people of the LGBTQIA plus community,
people of color, people
for people who have autism. That's a really important thing.
People who like with I think it was like squaddies who come off like army duty and things like that, who are trying to integrate back into society,
which is so important.
And a great way to do that is, you know, meeting people who have similar interests with you.
And playing a fun game.
That is just an amazing cause. And Alan and his wife Julia are just the like salt of the earth, best fucking people.
100%.
You know, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, but you choose to do that, which is important. And
Alan's please go and hit up Alan's social media for that company.
Secret Lair Harrogate.
Lair Harrogate.
I will leave all the links below as well. That is to the club in Harrogate, which is wild how close that is to us.
Like 5-minute drive from here.
Insane.
Wild.
And Julia, I think Julia and Alan run the small business together, but they do. I think Julia mainly makes like the handmade dice. They do 3D printed stuff. They have all sorts of cool things. They gave us some really cute little. You're not gonna be able to see these.
We'll take some photos of them, but these are like awesome little minis.
It's a druid with the hit dice.
Yeah, and the paladin with their hit dice. And you can go pick these up from their store.
Wonderful quality.
I'll also
put pictures of the dice in as well that you bought.
Put pictures of the dice in. So basically, right now I'm playing a druid, and I love to cast guidance every single chance I can. And the best thing is, from Julia and Alan's shop, I got a Tombstone V4. Yeah. It's my favorite. He made
everyone roll the Tombstone
every single time.
If
you had Bless, if you had Guidance, you had to roll my Tombstone dice, and it's super awesome. They're like, I think they specialize in like weird shaped dice. The D6 is
weird shaped dice, which I like. But yeah, big shout out to Alan and Julia. Thank you so much for being so kind and so sweet, and good on you for what you're doing. It's a noble cause, my friends. And please show them some love because they're really great people.
Yeah, if you don't have to go and buy anything if you don't want to, but at least go and follow the social medias and stuff.
Say hello.
So, go and say hello from us.
Yeah.
Great people that we met.
Great people. Speaking of great people that we met, I met 2 people that I really look up to. Oh, well, obviously there was a Critical Role panel. Let's just get that out of the way first.
There's a Critical Role panel, and you got to meet.
I got to meet Liam O'Brien.
Yes, you did.
I got to meet Liam O'Brien.
Shall I put the photo in here?
I'll put the picture of me meeting Liam O'Brien, and Liam is exactly how you think he is.
Yes.
He's exactly what you think he is. If you've ever had like photo ops before at like a convention, you know that there's queues, you get let in like a certain amount of people, etc., etc. You have like 10 seconds to speak to the person, your photo's done, it's over. We were let in like groups of 5, and I was the last in the group of 5, so I had to stand there and watch Liam standing like there, like that close to me, like saying hello to everyone. He asked every single person's name. He said, "Thank you for being here. I hope you have a good day." And he said goodbye to everyone using their name. It's
just little touches, isn't it?
Just little touches like that.
Liam O'Brien doesn't have to do that.
No, he doesn't have to do that at all.
But the thing is, it's nice when people, who are obviously famous and looked up to and idolized, just do little touches like that.
And you know
Call
what?
people by their name.
You could argue the point, I paid money to be there, but he didn't have to do that.
I'm telling you right now, there's people in this world who are famous and who are idolized,
absolutely
wouldn't give a fuck.
Wouldn't give a fuck,
but,
totally.
Remembered your name, called you by your name, said thank you for being here.
Gave you a handshake, by the way. Gave everyone a handshake.
Just making it special.
I was obviously freaking out beforehand, being like, what do I say to him? And I was joking, being like, giving him a handshake. He shook my hand. Weird.
He did the thing.
He did the thing
with Margaret, which you've obviously seen already.
And he was just so softly spoken and so gentle. And him saying, goodbye, Margaret. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, I came out like a fucking shitting dog. It's like I had an out-of-body experience, and they do this fucking awful thing. You go out, and there's like a million printers, right? And there's people manning each printer. They get your prints, and they hold them up for you to be like, oh, that's mine. Devastating. Truly a devastating moment for all. And you have to scan them on the way out, which I didn't realize. And I was shaking so much. The guy was like, could you please hold it with 2 hands? Yeah, I guess. So amazing experience.
Yeah.
The Critical Role panel. I'm sure you've all seen the clips from the Critical Role panel. It was amazing. The pre-show was amazing.
Oh man, the pre-show. We were in like an hour and 45 minutes before
and people had been in longer than that.
People had been in longer than that.
Yeah.
And I was sat there going, man, an hour. That's a long time to sit here.
Didn't feel like it at all. 5 minutes.
Felt like about a quarter of an hour because they put on such a good show.
Yeah,
and it was just so much fun.
Like the DJ had like specifically like remixed some of the Critical Role intro songs as well.
And there was like sing-offs and there was dance-offs. It was so much fun. And everyone was just, hyping each other up, and it was great. It was a great time.
Oh my God.
It's okay.
I've got something in my eye. No. Genuinely. I've had something in my eye all morning, and crying is not going to help it.
Yeah.
But it was that moment where we sat down, and the people next to us were so nice.
They were so
excited.
People
around us were so nice. The excitement was like palpable.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I just cried.
Yeah, you did cry for a long time.
I just cried like the whole time because people were like getting up and dancing with each other. Yeah. There was like dance-offs going on, and it was just everything you've ever wanted in a community.
Yeah.
And I'm getting so emotional talking about it again. It was so good.
The last person we met.
The last person I met.
Was somebody who you used to watch on YouTube quite a lot.
I still watch on YouTube to this day.
But the story I was about to tell was you used to watch quite a lot, and they were actually one of the people who inspired you to go self-employed.
Yes,
in the first place.
If you have a small business that you watch studio vlogs, you'll probably know her name. Her name's ChaoIllustrations, and she's British. And she's kind of, you know, at the time when I just first started my small business, which is not the one that we have now. I watched a lot of studio vloggers like Catherine Kay and Sarah Faber and Apple Cheeks and ChaoIllustrations, and it's people like her specifically who inspired me to quit my job and become self-employed, because they gave me the confidence to do so. And she had a stall there, and I said all weekend I want to go see her.
Yeah,
but I'm not shy. I'm very extroverted, but when it comes to like people I look up to.
Like Liam O'Brien.
I get very weird and very scared.
You do.
And very nervous.
Yes.
And we went up to her booth, and there wasn't a lot of people there at the time. And I was wearing my Girl Dinner Astarian t-shirt that Abby got me for my birthday. Thank you.
I still haven't received my birthday present, Abby. Margaret got a birthday present for my birthday.
It's just how it goes, Jack.
Yeah, just how it is, I guess.
And Phil, her partner, who was there, saw my t-shirt and like pointed at it, then got Holly's attention, who was ChaoIllustrations, and to be like, look at her t-shirt, and she met eyes with me, and I panicked, and I just went, I love your YouTube.
Yeah.
And she, God bless her, went, oh honey, and she came round and she was like, can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
And
we had a fantastic conversation
about Critical Role.
Yeah, with both of them, and that was really nice. And you got a tapestry.
I bought
which I'll put in
tapestry.
here, which is so cool.
Her illustrations, she does like demon girls, like yokai, like sexy women creatures, and I got a tapestry to go up in my office, and it's absolutely stunning, and I love it. And her art is absolutely gorgeous, but her personality, her as a person, just like a bright, radiant, shining being. She was so kind.
Yeah, she was absolutely lovely.
She made a lot of time.
Yes, she did.
For me specifically, someone she didn't know, someone who just panicked and was like, I love your YouTube. And Phil, her partner as well, made a lot of time for us.
Came around and had a lot of time with us.
They were just like genuine, kind souls.
Yeah.
And it's always nice when you meet someone who you really look up to and someone who really inspires you.
And they're really nice.
And they're exactly what you think they are. So thank you, Holly, for being so kind to me.
ChaoIllustrations,
Yes.
Is that what the YouTube channel's called?
Yes.
Hit up the YouTube channel.
She streams as well. She draws on Twitch. She has a Patreon. She has an Etsy shop. I will leave the links to everything below. Please check her out.
Yeah.
Her art is gorgeous. And her van was broken into before MCM Comic-Con as well. Vile, terrible behavior.
But in a sort of lucky turn of events,
stroke of luck.
the people who broke into the van were actually morons.
Yeah, they were expecting to find like trade tools, I think they said,
like,
right?
Or music gear or something like that. And they got in and they saw obviously all of her illustrations and things like that, which are obviously very valuable.
Very valuable. Extremely valuable.
To have, a booth at Comic-Con London. I know. And to be like such a popular successful business
artist as well.
And to be so moronic to be
silly.
Like, well, this is worthless.
Silly.
And I don't think they actually took anything.
They didn't take anything.
Which is,
silly.
Really lucky.
They stole like their cameras and everything.
Yeah.
Which is devastating. But at least they didn't
take all the stock as well.
Yeah, indeed. So it was an insane weekend. It was an insane, not even 48 hours.
So for us, every year we usually go to something called Slam Dunk Festival. And last year, Slam Dunk was good and stuff, and we saw some bands that we really liked. But it was
so busy.
It was so busy, and it was really poorly organized. And we've had a look at the lineup so far this year, and we're not particularly interested.
No, not feeling it too much.
So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to replace Slam Dunk Festival with Comic-Con from now on.
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, though, it depends on kind of what panels are on, because the highlight was, without a shadow of a doubt, the Critical Role panel.
Yeah, it was.
The Critical Role panel was everything we could have ever hoped for, and
it was
so
amazing.
much more.
Yeah.
But yeah, Comic-Con's just a good...
It was just great.
It's just great. It's just a fun place. And we obviously met up with our real life friends as well, like people we're friends with, like Wabs and Courtney and Keenan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're our friends who we know IRL, and it was wonderful hanging out with them. People who, you know, when you don't really hang out with people too often, but when you do, you're like, this is
awesome,
amazing.
Yeah,
it's like that. And I think they said that they want to go like kind of every year now as well. I'd love to cosplay as well. I'd love to cosplay again.
Don't know how I'd feel about that, because it's so going from Teesside, which is where we're from, in the northeast of England, to London, isn't particularly easy.
It's not. It's not. You'd have to go the night before.
Like, I admire every single person. Yeah. Like, people who came from abroad. There was people from, there was people from New Zealand.
There was people from Virginia?
Israel. People from Virginia who'd come over. Like, for you to come over that far for Comic-Con and lug all of your cosplay shit as well. Respect to you. You are crazy, but in a fantastic way. Yeah,
absolute respect to you. Yeah. Shall we show? We'll show Wabs and Courtney's cosplay. Yeah,
they were crazy.
Mind. So they completely handmade their costumes. If you've played Baldi, well, you'll know who Volo is.
Yeah, even if you haven't played.
Wabs went as Volo and Courtney went as Keyleth. And if they don't agree to this, I'll just cut this part out.
Yeah.
But they looked absolutely amazing. They completely handmade their costumes, which is unbelievable. They looked great. 10 out of 10.
They're both pretty crafty people, though. I think they've just built a
D&D table.
Just built like a D&D table that they've put in the garage, so we're going to go and test that out at some point.
Yeah. So, God, it's been nearly half an hour, but there was so much.
Do you know what? There's so
more. There's so much more, but
my campaign is encroaching fast.
Oh my God.
We've got a one shot in my in thingy.
God, well, should we talk about that on Thursdays? Talk about that on Thursday. But Jack's campaign is coming faster than we thought it was going to.
And they've already been let into some sort of cool bits.
Yeah.
So
well, we'll talk about that on Thursday. But yeah, that was really what's going on. That's the longest update we've had in ages. Man. So much more as well happening. We could say.
Yeah, there's some things to look forward to in the new year, which we're going to update you on quite soon. Yep. Which we're very excited about.
Yeah.
So, look, great things to look forward to with the Eldritch Podblast. Indeed. Not just the Podblast, but other things as well.
Yeah, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing meeting you guys. Yes. It was
from us.
From us.
Man, like, thanks to everyone. It was sort of surreal.
It was surreal.
It was be like recognized.
Unbelievable.
And you want to take pictures with us?
And you guys were so nice. Oh, man, it was unbelievable.
You're crazy.
Thank you. Thank you for changing our lives.
Yes.
Very much so. Thank you.
Okay.
Should we get into it?
No, the Homebrew Challenge is closed.
Oh, Homebrew Challenge closed. Homebrew Challenge for a spooky feast.
Spooky feast.
It's the last spooky installment. Yep.
That is closed now. That's closed. You missed your chance.
Yeah. You silly buggers.
You silly
buggers.
Silly buggers. Like buggers, right?
Buggers, yeah.
When I was a child, my mum told me that was like
a swear word.
A swear word.
Yeah.
Buggers.
Do you know what I was told was a swear word by like a friend's mum?
Go on.
Knackered.
Knackered?
Yeah, knackered. I remember I was in year 7, so I was like 11. And I went to her house and I was like, oh, I'm knackered. And she was like, oh,
wash your mouth out with soap.
She was like, I'm going to tell my mum you said that. And I was like, oh, okay. And she made us walk down to the living room and she was like, Margaret, tell my mum what you just said. And I was like, I'm knackered. And her mum was, oh my God, absolutely fucking beside herself. Yeah. Knackered.
Knackered? What's up with knackered?
I don't know what's up with knackered. It just means tired,
I remember
right?
when I was a kid, I was starting to like really learn the English language.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And some of the, crazy words. And I went to say knackered.
No.
But I actually instead said the word drenched. So I kept going, oh, Mom, I'm absolutely drenched.
Which she was like, Jack.
She's like, you're bone dry, mate. I don't know.
Drenched.
Little Jack, eh?
Oh man, that's
trying
so
to navigate
funny.
the big world.
And you know that kid who's just learned how to say apparently?
Yeah.
And apparently. It's like that, but drenched. Anyway. Oh goodness. Anyway, I hope you're doing well.
Yes.
I hope you're having a lovely time. Enjoy it while it lasts. Entities very close to you. So with that, let's get on to topic.
Horror and wholesome.
Woo, 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 woo. So these are all. Oh no, they're not all submissions. So this is an official plea. We are at a lack for some wholesome stories.
Wholesome stories.
So to be honest, not even necessarily wholesome. Just D&D stories.
Just get your stories in.
Yeah. Just get them in, please.
I'll have to just go to the Reddit, and you don't want that.
Well, some of them are from the Reddit, you know.
Oh yeah, I know that some of them are from the Reddit.
There's one in here.
You don't want all of the horror stories from the Reddit.
Oh God, you do not want horror stories from the Reddit. God, no, you do not. But
Put
one of the
your stories in.
Give us your wholesome stories, please.
Don't make me point this finger at you again.
Go on, point it.
I'll do it.
Oh my God.
Boom. And now you're dead.
Yeah, now entity.
Take them away.
So we're gonna do it as we normally do. We're gonna start with a horror, end on a wholesome, and we're gonna alternate in between.
Alternate.
We
do love to alternate.
We're gonna alternate. Why?
I'm gonna use my ultimate.
What do I tighten here to make this?
You got to spin it around, which you can't do because the wire's on it.
I see. Sorry if this sounds like actual hell.
Just fucking deal with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not one to just deal with it. No, unfortunately.
You are not one to just deal with it.
So shall we just get into it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this first horror story, this has been sent in by Nat, and they go by they them, and they use 87 ferrets basically everywhere.
Nice.
And it starts with hello, hello. Love the Podblast, love the watch parties. I'm excited to possibly see you guys at MCM London.
Interesting.
We spent the whole day with you.
Interesting how we definitely spent the whole day together.
Literal whole day with you.
Oh, amazing.
So this is an interesting situation that the game from a group I found on Reddit. This one's a long-winded one, and I apologize in advance.
Don't worry about it.
Don't you worry about it. So a game of mine was on temporary hiatus, and desperate for more D&D, I went to the LFG subreddit. I found a group decently quickly, and we all hopped into the Discord server together. To start with, the GM's wife was a player in the game, now referred to as B. This wasn't a red flag for me or anything, but it is relevant for later. Plot hook of the campaign is kind of irrelevant, but it was very clear who the bad guys are. Everyone's characters are aligned with similar goals to stop them, except for B. B's character had beliefs entirely aligned with the very evil people we were introduced to. I think she was trying to make a morally grey character, but her character was actually just kind of evil. After a siege on a fortress, our party had captured the bandit leaders and decided to camp out, keeping an eye on the leaders at all times. My character made a point to stay awake all night and take a point of exhaustion, but didn't tell the rest of the party. That night, B's character snuck up and released our prisoners to some bounty hunters in secret, getting a bunch of cool magic items in return. I asked if I would have noticed since I was in the room and I was awake, but the GM said no.
Interesting.
But they didn't even have B roll stealth. A session or two later, we as players were pseudo-forced to have our characters reveal secrets about them, all except for B, of course. These things should be noted here. One is that up till this point, B's character had disagreed with every single decision we had made as a party, but majority decisions overrode her opinions. 2, B has made multiple unprompted comments about how in tune she is with her emotions and can easily separate player and character. And 3, we had to kick a player a few sessions prior. Have you noticed I can never say sessions properly?
I think S words like that when you're on a
sex. Scooby Dooby Doo.
S words like that while you're trying to read fast and on a floor can tie your tongue a little bit.
Sessions. What did I say? Sessions.
You always shh.
I always go shh. Always. A few sessions prior, partially for standoffishness. In one of the last sessions, or maybe the last one, I don't remember exactly, we were looking for a plant that was actively slaughtering people, and B's character wanted to talk to it first. Our party disapproved, and then mysteriously, everyone but B's character got swept away to other places, and the plant approached B's character. We ended up having a fight anyway, and we killed the plant along with some zombies. This is where R gets introduced, another player involved.
Okay.
R's character had a very traumatic character moment during the fight with the plant and was not doing well. B decided that now would be the time for her to shout, like she was actually shouting down the microphone, about how we never agree with her. Specifically, she shouted at R's character and practically ignored the other two of us. The session ended pretty heated with the rest of us basically saying we need to work as a team. But considering B had bragged about her handling of emotions, I figured it was all just in character. Some time passes out of game and I get a text from R saying that they and B had a private in-character chat to resolve the argument.
Okay.
B's character blamed R's character for making her feel humanely different from the rest of the party, Like there is something wrong with her and not anyone else, and causing her great emotional pain out of character, even though all that was said was we need to work as a team.
Okay.
I described it to me as feeling more like a psychological debate over morals than an in-character chat.
Okay.
After a bit of discussion, R&B decided to have an out-of-character chat.
R&B. I'm cool.
Mediated by the GM.
Okay.
And they would allow me to sit in.
Okay.
It turns out the GM did not mediate and instead just dogpiled on R, and both of them refused to take fault for literally any hostility.
Okay.
R talked about how they were attacked personally and felt uncomfortable and being shouted at in-game, which in brackets, it was a very hard boundary that was set session 0 not to.
Yeah.
Neither the GM nor B apologized for this. Needless to say, after that call, I immediately left the server and blocked everyone apart from R. And we still talk to this day, alongside the other player. We have since played other games together. The whole situation reeks of favoritism, arrogance, and hypocrisy to me, and I'm a lot more careful about Reddit groups since.
Yes.
Like, I feel like this, unfortunately, is such a common way groups break up.
Oh, in what way?
Because of favoritism.
Yeah.
And because of, like, this whole weird, we had an in-character talk.
Yeah. Like, at that point, what was the point in the in-character talk?
Yeah.
It should have been the out-of-character talk first.
Completely agreed.
Then you can have the in-character talk.
And I feel like this is a really common thing, is people are like, oh no, it's just me in character. And it's like, it's obviously
it's
not.
Though. And you want to know what?
Obviously not.
It's so common, and it's especially for new players.
Very much
for
so.
new people who are like new to role-playing and new to Dungeons & Dragons and new to role-playing in Dungeons & Dragons, where there's like decisions and like countering opinions on all sorts of things, gods and worldviews and everything, and what we should do with the bad guy when we capture them. Like, that's a very common one. It's like, it's so common to have disagreements, and it is so common for new players not to understand, to say that they're fine with it, but to feel like it's actually you telling me. Which,
you know what, I get that. We've all been there. We've all been there. And I think that has something to do with trusting the people you're around.
Yeah.
And like, I think Nat hit it on the head, right? Just favoritism, arrogance, hypocrisy. Yeah. And you should never be, we said it before, say it again, you should never be shouting at someone at the table, in character or not. You should never be raising your voice. As
a dungeon master, you should never, ever, under any circumstance, have favoritism in the pie.
Never. Like, never.
Believe me, I DM for Margaret and other people in the group. And yes, it is hard.
Yeah, of course
it is hard. It is hard to tell Margaret no when she asks for, I don't know,
too much.
Like, level 1, and she's like, "Can I just get the Holy Avenger?"
Yeah, can I have multi-attack now, actually?
Can I just have multi-attack at level 3?
Yeah, can I have 60 feet fly speed now, please?
Please. It is hard to tell Margaret no. Yeah. And, you know, it is really hard to, like, it's just in general hard to, like, treat everybody the same.
It is.
Like, just in general, because, you know, even if you feel like you have done, maybe somebody feels like they maybe didn't get the best magic item, or their story wasn't as good as the other person's and stuff like that. So there is unintentional favoritism, probably just by the way you dungeon master.
Yeah.
But, you know, in those, like, really tough moments, you have to treat everyone the same.
You have to. And you know what? The whole, like, mediating a conversation to just go in and dogpile as well.
But it's like, why did you call it mediation?
Like,
because
what's the point?
It was so fucking apparent immediately that you weren't there for that.
And, like, I just, you know what? I just don't know how I feel. I think having private in-character things is a good thing. I think there's, like, ways to do that like are super fun, right? However, I don't necessarily know how well having an argument in character, in private, the two of you, how that's ever going to end well.
No.
Like ever.
And the thing is, if you've gotten to the point where you're shouting, which we said a million times,
you should not.
You should never be shouting. There is a 1,000 ways to communicate your emotions before shouting is the thing that you go to.
And I feel like, you know, sometimes your character can shout in character, but even then, towards another PC, I think skirts the line a little bit. It does skirt
the line, and, like, the thing is, I was going to say something, and then
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. But yeah, like shouting is never the way to communicate your emotions in character or out of character.
Agreed.
That should never be the way that we go about it.
Agreed.
Sadly.
Agreed. No, well, not sadly.
No, but sadly for this situation.
Oh no, yeah, true. Like there's and you know the whole like the fact that Nat's character stayed up all night and then they just. This is why you don't fucking work against the party.
Yeah.
This is why you can have your ulterior motives. You can have a different alignment to your party. You can want different things, right? But things like sneaking around in the night and freeing the hostages for a bounty just for yourself that you're not going to share, like that feels bad. But the thing is, everyone.
Did they not share the magic items?
Like, to be fair, Nat hasn't specified.
To be fair, if it was a situation where they were handing over them to bounty hunters to get loads of magic items and stuff for the party, then you know, like, yeah, it's going against what the party wants. There's a silver lining there, right? You're sort of like Robin Hooding it or something, you know? You're like, taking away what they had, but they're giving them something in return.
Yeah, to be fair, Nat hasn't. I just like, speculated on that.
If that's just for yourself, that's lame. That's so shit. That's lame. Man. That's so shit to do that to the party.
And I understand the whole like, oh, I want to make a morally grey character and accidentally leaning too far into evil. I get it. I've done that. We've been there. All of us.
Yeah.
I get it. But
But at the same time, it's like, why would Nat in this situation ever want to try anything ever again?
Yeah, I know.
Because basically, you're like, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to gain a point of exhaustion. I'm going to watch them all night. Yeah. And to not even make a stealth check or a perception check to see this. It's like, how did that happen? Nat was watching them and suddenly gone. Like, they're just not there anymore. It's like, what did Nat do then?
There has to be some level of coordination between the DM and the player, right? There has to be some.
How did they know about the bounty hunters?
Yeah, and how did they? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just stinky.
And then when you find out that your DM has been not necessarily, you know, your DM obviously is going to talk privately with all the players, right? But when you find out that your DM has been giving someone else at the party a leg up with information that no one else knows, feels really bad. And like if that's
if it's about your backstory, fair enough. But this isn't about the backstory. This is about a group of bandits that they've captured.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you talk to all of us privately all the time. All the time. Things, but that's very normal.
But I don't give you things
that
everybody else doesn't know, which they should.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, this is just such case in point, like, favoritism. And you know what? There's two multiplayer games. There's two people RPGs out there.
Like, we've said this before.
Just play them.
Like, if you just want to have a good time with your wife playing Dungeons and Dragons, do it.
Yeah, there is so many TTRPGs based just around two players. Yeah. So many.
And you can do that.
Yeah. Thank you, Nat.
Thanks, Nat.
That stinks.
Yeah, that one sucks.
Oh, that smells like beef, doesn't it?
It just feels like, it makes you as a player feel like, what's the fucking point?
Totally.
What's the fucking point in doing anything anymore? Because it's not fair.
Yeah.
The rules for me are not the rules for others.
Exactly. And don't fucking... the lines between in character and out character, I understand, can get blurred.
Yeah.
But if they do get blurred, just own up to it and talk about it out of character. Don't do this weird like in character dance.
Yeah.
It's hard for everyone.
Because that's no good for anyone, and it'll get lost in translation.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Very much so. All right, okay, we're on to a wholesome one. You know what? See, in terms of some of the fucking horror stories we read out, absolutely vile.
Heinous.
I feel like that's equally as bad, but in a different way.
Yeah, that's not like
that's like the typical downfall of a group.
Yeah, that's the downfall of the group. That's like actual like in-game problems.
Yeah,
and we do a lot of like out-of-game problems of how people have treat each other as people.
Yeah,
but you know, like in-game there are just as many fucking problems.
Yeah,
and there is like, man, like I can do it, so can you. I can not favorite my partner, so can you. And it feels stinky for everybody else at the group. So just do not do it.
It does, very much so. All right, we're on to a wholesome one. We're into a lovely wholesome one.
I feel all warm and fuzzy suddenly. Yeah. I'm all warm inside.
That's the diarrhea.
I did just shit myself.
No! P.U.
I stink. You stink. Cake in my trousers.
So this has been sent in by Anon, and they go by he, she, they pronouns.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so much, Anon. So this story isn't about me, but a friend and a fellow player at the table. Changing names for safety, but they have allowed me to share.
Go for it.
So my friend, Lewis, my name is Lewis. So my friend Lewis was born assigned male at birth. We were close friends. we were close
friends.
We were a close group of friends. So one of us volunteered to DM and we started our table. Lewis made a character called Louise who used she, her pronouns, and we loved the character. After around 2 or 3 months of playing, Lewis came to us and sort of subtly asked if we would also call them Louise out of game. Of course, we all agreed, and so from then onwards we called her Louise using she, her pronouns. I just wanted to share how good D&D can be as a tool for acceptance and experimenting with other identities if you have no pricks at your table. Amen.
There you go, baby.
Matt, see, like, and we've had a lot of these wholesome stories being like, D&D helped me discover who I am
as a person.
Helped me just like
how I identify.
Gave me the key to that door that I always knew was there, but never knew how to get in.
Never knew how to unlock.
And I feel like that it's important to say these stories because they are so like identity affirming in whatever way. They're just affirming, full stop.
Yeah, and you know, like we had that unpopular opinion last week of somebody being like, you saying that we shouldn't do these things makes me feel like unseen.
Yeah.
And like we don't want you to not explore.
Oh God, no, of course.
Know, like transphobia in games and things like that, or like exploring like different pronouns about yourself and who you want to be, because like this is what happens when you do.
Yeah,
but it's,
exactly.
Like here you go. It's a controlled environment. Yeah. Of people who are understanding,
and quote unquote, no pricks at the table.
No pricks at the table, because the problem is when we try and identify that when we try to explore these things with pricks at the table, it can do more harm than good.
It always.
Let's just take this situation and say that there was a prick at the table, and then Louise, never got to understand that about themselves, about herself, because of somebody's fucking
prejudice,
brain
about,
dead fucking like opinion and like way of thinking.
Definitely.
But there you go. You have a table that loves you and wants the best for you and wants you to just be who you want to be, and because of that, you are who you are now. Exactly,
which is the most important thing. And this
are now Louise.
I
am.
My name is Louise. Like, I just think it's so important to give people that safe space, and D&D should be that safe space.
It is.
It is.
For, you know, a group of people who play with people who understand.
Definitely. And that's why we'll always talk about these things, because
100%.
It's people like Louise who have found themselves through this game. And if we can just have one person change their mind, then...
just have their life changed.
Yeah, definitely.
Be now comfortable in their skin.
Yeah.
And be recognized and just feel maybe something that they feel like they've been missing their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Because of D&D.
D&D and the safe people around them.
Because of TTRPGs. Because of us getting around and pretending to be wizards and warlocks. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
And I just that's why I just fucking love it.
I know.
I just love it. And like, I feel like in like, you know, in a different way, like I've realized things about myself.
So have I.
From being a dungeon master.
Yeah, same.
And it's made me be like more comfortable. Like, I just thought in myself, like after I lost music and after I lost the band because the band broke up, I was sort of like at a loss with my creativity, and I just thought like that's the ending chapter of my life in terms of like being a creative.
Yeah.
Obviously the YouTube channels helped, but before that was
D&D. Yeah, of course.
And it was like such an outlet for my creativity. Yeah. And you know, I don't have to like rely on a bunch of people who aren't my friends to like keep the band together and like travel to fucking these shows and stuff like that and have that stress just to be creative. I can be creative at the end of my table.
Is that where you are?
Yeah, and that, you know, it can do these things for us.
It can, and it's a boost in confidence, and it's a great way to see your friends every week, and it's a great way to learn things about your friends, and I think it's a great tool in empathy as well to understand what other people are feeling and going through, and D&D can be used in so many ways, I think. As long as there's no pricks at the table.
As long as there's no pricks at the table.
As long as there's no pricks at the table.
And, you know, like you said, like when you get to 30, like I am, you know, seeing friends, having conflicting schedules, being really busy,
a big thing.
Being really tired all the time.
Yeah.
Because you're old. You know, having a dog and things like that, those things get in the way. But when D&D is that like grounding factor, you don't realize how much joy it brings you just to have your friends come around every week.
Oh my
God, 100%. Spend
100%.
some time with them and
100%.
just fucking laugh and be stupid because like you fucking like you don't realize, and maybe you don't realize right now But you need that.
You do need that
outlet.
You really do. And you say we laughed, we cry together as well. And we've shared really special moments that I know for a fact all of us could recount a specific moment that would all just take us straight back into that moment and feel those things again.
Like when I pick Josh up, because he's the first one I pick up, we just like start talking about shit, and then the amount of times that he's like, oh, do you remember when we did that thing?
Yeah.
And like Malisk did this, or Igneous did that, and I'm just like we just made that up.
Yeah, that happened in our heads.
But,
that was a shared hallucination.
None of us, we rolled a d20 and something crazy happened, and it like progressed the story in a way that none of us imagined.
Mm-hmm.
But now that's like a core memory for all of us.
Yeah, indeed.
And it's just wild that can do it.
It is.
And that's why I feel like people who don't play D&D, it's not that they don't understand, but they can't understand.
Yeah, they can't understand,
until
of course.
they've done it.
Yeah, of course.
Man.
Thank you, Anon, for your story, and thank you, Louise. That's.
Why is fucking TTRPGs and D&D so good?
I don't know.
I don't
know. I really don't. Well, I know I do.
I do, but the thing is, I don't think I could ever potentially put it into like one word.
No.
Or like a phrase.
No way.
It's just crazy.
Same. Well, are you ready for a horror
you ready to get
story?
Shit on now?
Are you ready to have that all flipped on its head? So this has been sent in by TPZ, and he goes by he, him.
Thanks, TPZ.
Thank you, TPZ.
TPZ's an absolute OG of the Discord.
TP's an OG. Yeah, literally, it says TP in the Discord.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, this is the story of the worst D&D campaign I have ever been a part of, and was the only campaign that didn't die due to scheduling issues. There are no trigger warnings here, except for some intense cringe and uncomfortability.
I'm ready for it. I live for the cringe.
I hate cringe.
But I also kind of live for it.
So, you know what? Abby loves to cringe.
The thing is, right, I say I live for the cringe, I hear one thing and I'm like, I'm done.
Too much, it's too much.
That's enough. That's enough. I'm finished.
Ooh. All right. Spoilers for Curse of Strahd. Hope this isn't too long. A few years ago, a friend of mine was starting up a D&D campaign, modified Curse of Strahd. He wanted to be the DM for a non-Adventurers League game. I'm going to sound... You know what? I was going to say I'm going to sound so dumb. I'm not dumb. I'm just not aware of what this is. What is a non-Adventurers League game?
Don't know.
What is an Adventurers League game?
The thing is, right, like, we just don't play any... We don't really play any modules. We don't play any canon D&D lore.
Yeah, and we only play within like our friendship group.
Yeah, so we don't really know like modules. Yeah, like Faerun lore. We know nothing of it because we just never play it.
We have heard Adventurers League games before, but I don't really know what that means. No, it's all right. Don't worry about it. Maybe they can tell us.
You tell us down below in the 100 comments.
In the future or past, I suppose, depending when.
100.
Yeah. A non-Adventurers League game and had some players lined up. We were all hyped. He'd set up a Discord for us to talk about character creations and set expectations when the first problem arose. Are you ready? I accidentally sent an invite to my best friend and his girlfriend, some pocket dial type situation. They came in and they got really excited to be invited. The best friend is a forever DM and a great storyteller. I had to explain publicly to them that I was sorry, but they're not actually invited to the campaign, and it was an accident to invite them. Cringe.
Sometimes those things happen. Look, we've pocket dialed before.
Oh, yes, we have.
We've done these things just happen.
I feel awful for you that you had to publicly be like,
You are actually not
so
invited.
Sorry. The DM, however, seemed genuinely enthused and said the more the merrier, so he carried on. So,
okay.
Plus 2 of the players had dropped out before we actually got started, so we're now at a total of 4 PCs and the DM.
Totally fine.
Crisis averted.
Do you want to know what? It was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, indeed. A few sessions in and we are crushing it. I'm a Tempest Cleric, we have a Warforged Gloomstalker, a Bard of some sort, and a Barbarian.
Warforged Gloomstalker? You don't think of those two things
put
together. Like, a lot of the times when you think of Warforged, you do think, like, heavy, robust. That's why they get the extra
you think
armor.
of, like, a Barbarian. And then you think of, like, an Artificer.
Yeah, you just think of something that wants a lot of AC.
Yeah.
I like that.
But we get to the first town and we hear a rumor about some kids going missing. But we are all idiots and pick up on 0 clues to solve the mystery, except for this creepy old lady selling pastries from a cart. So we move on to the next town. As we were traveling on the road, we come up to a windmill. We had been previously told to avoid it because it's allegedly haunted. However, it's getting dark and we need shelter for the night, so we settle ourselves in. Second problem, now this is where spoilers for Curse of Strahd are. This leads to an encounter with 3 hags in which 2 of us, me and my best friend, are polymorphed into frogs and put to sleep. The other 2 players are severely outnumbered now and choose to run away and leave us to be eaten by the hags. This is effectively a TPK. We talk about it and we tell the 2 surviving players that whatever they want to do is cool with us. So 3 of us roll up new characters, the girlfriend keeps her character, and we re-enter the world from another side of the map. Everyone was okay with player deaths. We had all decided it beforehand.
All right.
So, no problem at all.
Nope. Sometimes these things happen.
Yeah, indeed.
Sometimes you get polymorphed into a frog
and you die.
And then put to sleep.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
It happens.
Best friend decides to be a tiefling divine soul sorcerer who is a noble, so he's a bit pompous but very charismatic. He expects everyone to wait on him hand and foot and calls everyone peasants, but it's funny. However, the next problem arises because the DM almost never calls for persuasion or deception or intimidation checks.
It's a very common problem that we are beginning to find.
So the charismatic character is useless in social situations. We go on a mission to clear a winery and we again find ourselves outnumbered and almost TPK'd. We manage to run away from that fight, recoup, and go back for the survivors and clear out the winery. We get back to town and trade the wine we got for a place to sleep for the night in the mayor's basement. When we wake up in the morning, the DM describes a rooster pecking the face of the sorcerer, who startles awake and casts Hellish Rebuke, so the rooster is instantly killed. At which point the DM says, "The mayor comes downstairs to see you there with his rooster crispy cooked and loses his mind." Apparently, this was the only rooster in the whole city, and we had single-handedly devastated their egg production in the region, thereby removing a source of revenue and crippling their economy.
From one rooster?
So, do roosters
don't even lay eggs!
So, we are kicked out immediately for ruining their lives. It feels like we cannot win. So annoyed, we move on. Eventually, we come upon a weird hill that is terraced, think the Mayan temples, but at the top we see a massive circle of stones. We decided to climb the hill and see what's up. What's up? At the top of the stones are very henge-like, and in the center is a giant wicker man with emerald in its eye sockets.
Cool.
This seems sketchy, so we are approaching with caution and I decide with my monk to climb the wicker man and steal the gems from its eyes. At which point, the wicker man wakes up and the final problem rears its head. My best friend, who is playing a tiefling, says, "I fucking knew it." The DM then says, "Dude, will you stop with the metagaming?" There's a silence. My best friend is like, "What are you talking about?" And the DM says, "Yeah, you've played this before, so you know what happens already. We get it." And to clarify, my best friend and I had started a Curse of Strahd game once before, but it ended just before the start. Best friend says, "Dude, it's super creepy here, and we are just genre-savvy players." My best friend decides he's had enough and asks what the DM his problem is, claiming he keeps targeting him, first with the TPK, then with the rooster, and now this. Best friend says he's done. He and his girlfriend drop from the chat and leave the server pissed. We all kind of sit in silence for a minute, and the DM asks, "What the fuck? Is this real? I don't understand." Apparently, the DM assumed that we knew everything and we were deliberately metagaming him. I tried to explain that we really didn't know about the setting that much and it seemed to be an understanding. I tried to patch things up with the DM and he said he didn't want to run the game at all anymore and that it killed his enthusiasm. So he left and deleted the server. And that's all there was to it. I sometimes wonder if it's all my fault for the accidental invite, or if that DM was just too attuned to running Adventurers League games and was used to adversarial play. What do you all think? That sounds like a clusterfuck.
Like, the thing is, right, with the Wicker Man with the gems, I'm not just saying it. I could have fucking told you they'll take the gems out the eyes and it'll come alive.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a. That's something that happens.
See,
you take out the precious stones, the thing comes alive. Let's just take Indiana Jones and the thing, you know, when he like switches and then something happens.
That thing in WoW where you have to take the gems out of the eyes of the thing. Maybe it's not WoW. Anyway, but
it's not like the first time this has ever happened.
No. You know what? The thing is, you hear there's gems in this thing's eyes, one way or another. You're going to take them out.
And if you're dirt poor, which they clearly are, because they're sitting in the basement of the mayor, because that's the only place that they can sleep because they've traded some wine that they got.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you're if you put shiny, expensive objects in front of
them,
they're
going to take them.
They're going to take them. Of course they are.
You know, my thought would be take the gems out so it doesn't come alive, right? You know what I mean? You're going to take the gems. Your DM says there's a wicker man with gems in its eyes. You're going to take the gems.
You're going to take the gems.
And, like, maybe I'm missing something here because TPZ once again says something about used to running Adventurers League games and used to adversarial play.
Yeah.
But, like, to assume that...
They've run it.
Yeah, like, wouldn't... The thing is, I say this every time, wouldn't you just say, though? Wouldn't you just ask?
The thing is, right, they're saying that they maybe even haven't, or whatever. DMs just... This is the age-old, and we used to say this very much in the beginning, and I'll say it again.
Go on.
When you assume...
Go on.
You make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, you
And
do.
this is case in point.
Yeah, you do.
This DM's just assumed that they know what's going on, and they're playing basically to combat that.
Yeah.
And you've literally ruined your own game because of that assumption.
Yeah. And the amount of times something happens in your game and we go, I fucking knew it. You know what I mean?
Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with playing into these stereotypes. Like, the bait is there for the reason.
Exactly. The bait. That's bait.
That's
right?
Bait.
That's bait.
And like, you know, a lot of times, like, you'll come away with some gems, but you had to fight something. It's it's bait, but you get something.
Yeah,
like, I don't understand what's wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, this entire submission is literally taken apart when you go, you guys play Curse of Strahd before? All right, cool.
And to be fair, TPZ says, like we've started, but we didn't get this far.
Yeah, exactly. So the assumption, like,
I know.
I started with, and then the DM can go, oh, okay, cool. Like, with one simple question, that entire situation doesn't happen. Have you guys played it before? We started it, we got to like the first bit and that's it. And it's like, all right, cool. So you don't really know what's going to happen after the first instance.
And you know, there's that horrible feeling. And you know what? I can understand what the DM's feeling, right? Sitting there being like, oh, they know.
They know.
Oh, and like when you start looking for patterns, you're most likely going to find a pattern, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's not like the true timeline of what's happening, like you're going to assume that it is.
Yeah.
And I can imagine this DM was probably sat there going, and then obviously blew their lid at the end.
Yeah.
Man, which is just the most I can't imagine how awful this must have been to be privy to this conversation.
Let's just talk to each other.
Yeah, let's just talk to each other. Let's just talk to each other.
Let's just have a small chat about, you know, what we know about this module or not.
Yeah.
If you're running a module and you're playing with strangers, there is nothing wrong with, have you ran this module before?
Totally. Oh my god,
and then
totally.
you'll get the answer you want.
Yeah, totally.
And you know, you might even get a mixed answer, and that's fine. You just say to them, can you make sure that you don't spoil it for anybody else?
Accidentally inviting your friends to the Discord. Oh god.
Well, see, do you know what I mean? Like, that's a horror story created by the Dungeon Master and nobody else. Man, just ask.
Yeah.
If you're so paranoid about it as well, which this Dungeon Master clearly is, like, just ask. Yes, Curse of Strahd's been out for a long time now as well, so a lot of people have played it. It's one of the most popular, but you've just taken that prior knowledge and just assumed here and ruined your own campaign.
You ruined your own time.
You ruined your own time.
Oh, thank you very much, TPZ.
Yes, thank you, TPZ.
And thank you for supporting the podcast. All right, this next one, this has been sent in by Mikey, and you've left no pronouns, and this is a wholesome story. I wrote this format down so weird. This is from Mikey.
Thank you, Mikey, for your submission.
How did your first session as a DM go? I'm curious because to me, it felt like I've seen my players grow as better role players and better storytellers. I played D&D for about a year when I decided to DM for the first time. I got 4 to 5 people I worked with to play. 3 of them were new to DM and 2 of them only had a year experience. The first session, everyone was very passive. I tried to include everyone and tried to invite them to speak what they thought or simply just telling us what their character was thinking. It was a very quiet session. The 2 of the experienced players talked the majority of the time while trying to include the others, but they just weren't biting. I thought that my players might not ever get into it because of how weird it was. Second session and one of the inexperienced players came in with a voice for his character, and was much more active in the roleplay. It was awesome to see the confidence jump he took just from first session to this one. I, the DM, did a decent amount of talking as NPCs to try and ignite the conversation between the group, but never to any avail. Finally, we are 5 sessions in, and I had the proud DM moment where I sat back and watched all 5 of my players roleplay for 25 to 25 minutes straight without any awkward silence or need of NPC input.
Loved it.
They were forming a plan on how to infiltrate a king's quarters. The smile on my face when they used in-game knowledge of the area and acted like how their characters would, it was a true, beautiful sight. Have you ever had this moment before as a DM? Thank you, loving the Podblasts.
Thank you very much.
Mikey.
Man. So good.
What a wonderful, a wonderful perspective.
Just so you know, we are seasoned TTRPG players. We've been playing for years now. And our first session of every campaign is tough. Because everyone's fucking nervous.
Everyone's nervous.
The Dungeon Master's nervous. The players are nervous. They're new characters. They want to showcase their characters. They want to do the new voice, but at the same time,
you're scared because you haven't practiced the voice.
So
and
everyone's like that first session.
Yeah.
Never mind new players.
Oh my
who've
God.
never played before.
Oh my God.
And the thing is, you as a Dungeon Master are doing
everything
right.
Everything right.
Having NPCs talk to them to try and ignite conversation. And the thing is, you did it right because in the end, they got there.
Well, in the end, they got there, right? And, to ask them, what your character's thinking. What are they doing? What are they up to? That's such an important thing. And thinking back to our first session, it's a blur now, really. But because we didn't really know what we were doing, there would be a lot of silence where we didn't know what to say. And we would turn to our DM for guidance, if that makes sense. And I think that's something you just warm into, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That you get used to you get used to it.
You get used to it.
You get used to the amount of how much each person talks.
Yeah, and you also get used to at the beginning the silences are awkward because maybe you don't want to say something when somebody's about to say something else.
Very much
and,
so.
The players don't exactly know how much to say and how much
talk at the same time.
And then the dungeon
awful.
and the thing is you get to a point where the silence has just become not uncomfortable anymore.
Yeah, very much
because
so.
you know, and the dungeon master knows when to be okay.
Yeah.
And let's move this scene on now.
Yeah.
And okay, I can see that the roleplay is coming to an end.
We're as a group, especially when you're the DM, we're all very good at having the moment. And then collectively, we all know when the moment's passed.
Yeah.
And you're very good at moving us on.
Yes, yeah.
From it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no,
but
no problem, mate.
There's not much seeing a new player get it.
Mm-hmm.
With TTRPGs, D&D, Pathfinder, whatever it is, there's a moment where, especially not the combat's mechanical, there is do's and don'ts, but with roleplay, there isn't really defining rules. So when you see a new player get it, when your players realize that the role playing and the story aspect can almost be anything they want.
Yeah.
It's like that.
It's like a light bulb moment. It's the moment you realize you can do anything.
Yeah.
It's like an epiphany moment.
There's no rules. It can be what you want.
Yeah.
Is it that I want to go to this bakery and just buy this sweet bread
that
is reminiscent of my hometown, and you get it's that in-depth roleplay, or it's that moment that you realize that the dungeon master has put out a in-depth mystery for you to solve, and then you begin to solve it, and you're
and you put the pieces together, and you go back over the notes, and you notice that you met this one NPC and this thing, and it just spawns into something bigger than you, and that's the best part. And I feel like that's exactly what your players are going through right now, Mikey.
And it's such a brilliant feeling.
They're going through that epiphany moment of, oh my God, this can be whatever
this can be. What I want it to be.
We can make this plan to infiltrate the king's quarters however we want to do it. There isn't a predefined thing. And I feel people who don't know D&D think it's just a board game that you play, right? Yes, they understand that there's an element of dice, but they don't know why. And it's so hard explaining it to someone.
But that's it. It's because D&D isn't just this one thing.
Yeah.
TTRPGs can be anything. It can be a dungeon crawl. It can just be 4 or 5 hours of intense role play. It can be a mystery. It can be an adventure. It can just be what you want. As long as you're happy to just consume what the dungeon master has written for you and you enjoy what they've written, it's anything you want.
Yeah,
it to be.
very much so. Very much agreed. And I love that. And, you know, it's a nice perspective. And like you always say, like you enjoy sitting back and watching us roleplay and watching us talk. Like it's nice to know that like sometimes I feel bad that we're just talking amongst ourselves and not including you as the DM.
I don't like, for me, like when I create, because the thing is, you know what to expect.
Yeah.
You know that there's going to be a story, that you know that there's going to be a mystery, you know that there's going to be something. Did you just toot?
No.
Margaret's first toot on the podcast. You fucking throw me off.
I'm so sorry.
When you, because you know what I write.
Yeah.
I write like an adventure that's like got mystery and definitely a story to follow and unravel.
Yeah.
And there's probably going to be some twists and turns on the way.
Yeah.
So when I see you talking about it in character, being like theory crafting and being like, well, maybe it's this and we should do this because this, and what if this unlocks this? Like there's just no way I can sit there and not enjoy that.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's why I didn't necessarily enjoy DMing as much, because I just wanted to be involved. I just wanted to be part of it, and I'm not patient enough to be a DM, I think. Yeah,
and I don't think it's about patience. Like I think it's more like if in that moment your players are talking about your plot and what it could be, and what if it's this and what if it's that, and you're not enjoying that, I think maybe you probably don't want to be a dungeon master.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think but that's not true, because you know you could just fucking run 6 combats and just smash shit, and there'll be none of that, and you'd still enjoy it. But for me, like if I didn't enjoy that part, I probably wouldn't. You probably wouldn't
enjoy it. No. Yeah, and I think that's why I didn't really enjoy it.
And that's fine, because I love it. And you know, like now that we're gearing up for my campaign, and I've been thinking about it nonstop, like I'm excited as fuck.
Yeah, so are we. Like very, very much so.
You know.
So yeah. I think, and you know, I think Mikey asked the question to all of you, like, have you ever had this moment as a DM where you've just sat back and you've gone, oh my God, they get it. Oh my God, it's happening. It's happening.
They're enjoying it, and like
and they're getting it. They're picking up what I'm putting down.
And like they're engaging with it, like without me.
Yeah.
And that's just such a fucking great feeling.
Definitely. I bet it is.
Like I bet it is. I remember watching, Abby was fucking like,
immediately into it.
Because I didn't know Abby as well as I know Josh when Abby came to play. From what you told me, it was almost like it was going to be instant.
Yeah,
and it was. It was like it was instant with Abby.
It was instant.
But like watching Josh go from, you know, like Josh is a confident person, but like somebody I'd never really think would be that interested. But like watching him come in and just like
embrace
in the
it
first
fully.
session, like do the voice, and obviously quite nervously at the beginning, and then as the session rolled on, like began to just get into conversation and not think about it. And then when the combat came, seeing like how naturally he took to the combat,
yeah, very much so.
It was just so great to see him enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely.
And just embrace it.
And you know, like I am a firm believer of you get out what your table puts in. And you know, at the point where it was just Josh, me and Matthew have been like best friends since we were like teenagers. So we know each other very well. We're comfortable with each other. Obviously, I'm your partner, and it was very easy for us to feel confident and comfortable around Josh. And I think you can only go off what you see, right? And because me and Matthew are very like strong role players, and we enjoy that aspect of it, I think I hope it made Josh feel more comfortable.
Clearly it did, because he took to it like a horse to water.
Yeah, well,
it was very, 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 like it took one session, I think.
It did. I think, and I don't even think it was like the whole one session. I think he just needed to see like
you do it,
what the situation was, and then he just got straight into it. Abby, no problem.
No problem.
Abby, straight into it.
Yeah, no problem.
From the immediate get-go.
I feel like Abby's like theatre kid.
Yeah.
She gives me theatre kid energy.
She is theatre kid energy.
And
yeah,
like,
she is.
Theatre kids, for the roleplay aspect of Dungeons & Dragons, theatre kids are just going to fucking live and
lap
die
it up.
for it.
Lap it up. Absolutely lap it up.
And I think Josh was a little bit, but not quite to the extent Abby was.
Well, I know that we said we weren't going to talk about it, but you're going to DM for your brother. I think by the time that this goes live, it would have already happened.
No, this is Monday's episode.
Yes, it's
imminent.
Gonna
be in 2 days.
Imminent.
I'm going to DM for my brother for the first time. And my brother likes...
Yeah, he likes fantasy, he likes sci-fi.
He's very into sci-fi and fantasy and things like that. But, you know, he's just like older.
Yeah, he's old. He's got a proper job, good kid, good wife.
And the thing is, he's got a proper job. So he can never truly join the campaign or anything like that because his schedule just doesn't meet up with it. But, like, I hope I run a one-shot good enough for him to just love it.
If anyone would, it's you, to be fair.
But I've got a great idea, and it's set like pre the campaign that we're about to run. We'll talk a little bit more. But you know, like, he's gonna.
I hope he gets the same experience from it. I really do. I hope he does. I really do. But thank you, Mikey. Thank you for your submission.
Thank
you so much. All right, let's go on to a horror then, shall we? Horror. It's a horror story on the Podblast. Ding, ding, horror.
It's a horror.
This one's
Get your horror here.
This has been sent in by Nabi, and she goes by she, her.
Thank you, Nabi, for your submission.
Thank you, Nabi. I will give a trigger warning for like general discussions of pregnancy.
Okay.
In this. And yeah. Hello, the story I bring today was originally submitted as an Am I the Arsehole, but I feel like this would actually just be more entertaining and or creepy in a horror story format.
Look, a lot of your submissions to Am I the Arsehole are actually just
horror stories. Oh my god, 100%.
You've been done wrong, and there's a little bit of doubt in your mind that maybe you could have done something wrong, but really you didn't. So most of them are horror stories. Definitely. Just a heads up. This tale is going to go over some pregnancy topics, but I'll try to make it as light as possible. Thank you, Nabi. You gave the warning for me anyway. There we go.
And by the way, I am using fake names to be safe.
Totally fine.
This is a long one. I will try to be as quick as I can, but just bear in mind, I'm trying to summarize a 2-year campaign in a couple of paragraphs.
Totally fine.
So I've been playing with this group for a couple of years by now. I was invited to what I thought was going to be a short campaign after I was introduced to a friend's friend who was into DM, and me being a huge fan of the game, accepted the invitation pretty quickly. It was the height of the pandemic and I wasn't in a very good emotional place, but this campaign really helped me to get out of bed and be excited with something while the world burned outside.
That's the crack, man. That's the fucking crack. Like waking, I think there's no better feeling than waking up on a morning and just knowing that there's something in the day. Some part of the day that makes you be able to go to work and just be like, it's okay because tonight.
Because I've got this.
And Dungeons and Dragons is that for a lot of people.
And you know, for us, we're meeting up with our friends. You know what I mean? So I fully get that, Nabi.
When we get to clean the house. When we clean the house, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Now it's time. It is time.
It's time.
Yeah. I played as Cordell, a traveling badass with a healthy family. I really recommend it, by the way. Playing with an emotional, healthy character once in a while. No.
Shan't.
Could never be me.
I mean, there's a few people who say it, and there's a few people who've done it. It's just people who are like, they don't have the tragedy. Yeah. It's more just they want to adventure.
Yeah. And I think Willow, my character, was definitely the least tragic of all of them, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like Willow,
I would say so.
But maybe that was just how she carried herself. But Blythe, probably the most tragic yet, let's be honest with you.
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like Rayla's wasn't so tragic.
No.
It was more just like a mystery.
Yeah, I think Rayla's ended kind of tragically.
Ended?
Yeah, with her, ascending and not being able to be with her friends anymore.
That's like beautifully tragic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whimsically tragic.
Yeah, she didn't like fucking die.
She didn't die. No.
Yeah, it wasn't like tragic in that way. It was like, it was whimsically tragic. Yeah. It was like nicely tragic.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
A greater good.
Yeah. Anyway. Could never be me. It was very passionate about collecting ordinary people's stories.
There you go. That's a great little bad story.
The rest of our party won't be introduced by name, except by Dutch the Fighter, who will be relevant in just a sec. I believe we were level 5 in total. The first year was a blast. Even though I've realised far too late what I got myself into, it was very nice to pretend I'm just a silly little traveller with my newfound friend. But then came the maze arc. The maze arc, my friends, was a living hell.
No.
After a really harsh battle, we found this small door tucked away in the corner of a cave. When we entered it, we found ourselves into a small room with 2 sets of stairs, one going up, one going down. We couldn't see where they led to since they eventually vanished into magical darkness. We eventually decided to go up, and that's when we all got separated into different rooms. Basically, we entered a magical maze tower of sorts with stairs that would lead you into different rooms every single time. And if we weren't holding hands with each other, we would get separated. God help us if a player missed a session because their character would get separated again, and our DM would only let us reunite after our luck rolls were exactly the same. So to go to another room, you would roll D100. If 2 or more players rolled the same number, they would go to the same room.
What's the fucking answer to that?
Low. Like, I don't know what those numbers are. Matthew, if you're listening, can you work that out, please?
Tell us in the comments the probability of that.
2 people rolling the same number.
On a D100.
It gets so much
D100
worse.
is like how many comments again?
Yeah, like, oh my God.
Right?
But I'm getting ahead of myself. When we first got separated, Cordell was drained. She emerged into a room with a golden ritual on the floor, and with a decent arcana check, let me know that it was of a benign nature. Being a hobbyist writer myself, I imagined that this was a quick way to sneak in a long rest without taking too much time out of the adventure. And since our DM was pretty harsh on metagaming at our table, if your PC wasn't there to see it, you won't be either. There wasn't really a good way to check if everyone had some kind of rest as well, so I activated it. After around 10 minutes, Cordell woke up refreshed and ready to find the rest of her party. Months had passed before we could all reunite. Not in-game months, real-life months. When I felt like I was going to lose my mind, we finally reached the very last room, the maze owner's living quarters, some kind of powerful witch. We were really excited because next session would be our very first in-person session, but I was a little bit worried. You see, a couple of sessions ago, my character started to get sick, and with me not being that great at catching clues, I couldn't really figure out what was going on with Cordell. All we knew was that it had something to do with the ritual that she had activated, since Dutch was also sick and had found a similar ritual too. So the days went by, and we finally got together to play again. Everyone was curious to ask her their own questions, and we were all theorizing what it could be that was happening to both Dutch and Cordell. So I asked in front of everyone, what was the deal with those golden rituals scattered across the rooms? My friends, not even in my wildest nightmares, would I guess what my DM was going to say next. She looked at me for a while, maybe with a hint of hesitation in her eyes, and said in character, "Oh, you mean my pregnancy rituals? Yeah, I had this idea of becoming a mother a while back, but I gave up on it." I was floored. It was as if time had stopped and all I could hear was pregnancy ritual being repeated over and over again. The DM, did she just... Well, no, she couldn't have. But she did just say... Did she just... I couldn't even speak. Cordell is young, around 19 to 20. The implication of doing such a thing are just so many. And the DM ended the session, and I spent the next 3 days in utter disbelief of what just happened. I won't go into too much detail here, since this is already too long, but let's just say I had to actually talk to my psychologist about this, and me and my DM had a real lengthy conversation on consent and boundaries at the table. She had told me this was a good way to develop my character. Since I said before, I saw Cordell as comic relief, and that she felt like, but the DM felt like she could be so much more than that.
I think we're taking different views on what we want in life here.
She ended up retconning the ritual, so it was just a long rest, but I really never got over what kind of trash fire that situation was.
You never would.
I wish I could say this is where it ends, but she eventually went on to show me more red flags. For example, I found out she described the whole situation as me cancelling her, and now she's too scared to and doesn't want to give my character a real plot because I might do it again. So I am preparing to leave the table as soon as I have an opportunity to do so.
The opportunity is now.
In brackets, I don't want to make it obvious. I think you're well within your right to.
You can do whatever you want.
I'm actually really sad because I really, really love Cordell and the friends I've made at the table.
Cordell
still lives on.
Cordell can be continued on elsewhere.
I care about them so very much, and I really care about the story we're building together. But if I need to go through these kinds of horror stories just so I can keep playing, it might be best for me just to find someone else to play with.
The Discord has many people.
Maybe I can send a follow-up with text detailing part 2 of this crazy campaign, but the story is big enough. I hope this can be a lesson for you guys out there on so many levels. The importance of consent, the problem with romanticizing unplanned pregnancies, and so much more. God, so much more.
Where do we begin?
Well,
where do we begin?
Here we are.
So, look. In your life, there are big decisions, and I would say buying a house is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Buying a car is another.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall, more than anything, the biggest decision you can make with your life is having a child.
Yeah. And the biggest decision for their life.
Your own life.
Like, for your life and for the child's life.
And for, your partner's life.
Like, for everyone's life around you.
Yeah, or just single mother. Like, if that's what you're going to do. Like, that's your decision and your decision.
Yeah.
Nobody else's.
No one.
Nobody gets to take that from you. Nobody gets to force that on you. So, it is nobody else's decision to take into their hands to do this.
Yeah. And
ever.
I think this touches on, and Nabi is using she, her pronouns for the DM, right? Like, this is a conversation of internalized misogyny that we see too often. It happens too often in our lives. And yes, women can be misogynistic to other women.
Of course they can.
It's not their fault. I will say, I believe that internalized misogyny is something that I feel a lot of sympathy for these women for, but there is no world it is acceptable to tell another female presenting person that their character arc would be more interesting and there's a bigger meaning to their story if they got pregnant.
Like, the thing is, it's the line that the Dungeon Master said.
Yeah.
What did they say? Something about being a mother.
What? Which one?
They said something about being a mother.
In character, the witch said, I had an idea of becoming a mother, but I gave up on it.
Like, man. Like, and this is the thing. Like, when you say things like, "Oh, your story arc would be more interesting with this," it's like
you could be so much more than comic relief.
You could be a mother. It's like, look, not that it's very common. Look at us, 30 years old, been together for 7 years, literally zero interest in having a child.
Absolutely not. Never having a child ever in my life.
Less interested.
Never.
Abby's the same.
Yeah.
Matthew's the same.
Yeah.
I think Josh might not be the same, but that's like, it's very, very common these days for our generation and the generations like behind us to be just not fucking interested.
And women specifically, may I add, it's very common now for women to not want children, and it's because we live in an age where women have their own,
God forbid,
have their own autonomy to a degree. I understand that there's men all across the world trying to fight to take women's autonomy away from them, but women, for the most part, have autonomy over some of the decisions they make in their lives.
Well, they should have.
They should. Oh my God! Of course they should.
It's the fact that like you're tiptoeing around that point. It's like a woman should have full autonomy.
100%.
She should be able to make her own decisions.
Yeah, we don't
with what she wants to do with her life.
Yeah.
And who she is.
Yeah, we don't.
And if she's enough.
And people absolutely are fighting to take that away from women.
Of course they are. Look at America.
Roe v. Wade.
Look at one of the largest countries in the world. One of the, a very far advanced country. Like it's America. It's this like land of hopes and dreams. I don't know how the fuck you can call it anything of the sort when you're trying to take the right for a woman to have an abortion away from her.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, you, as a country, you are a fucking disgrace.
Yeah, a shameful.
You're
shameful.
You are in shambles.
Yeah, that is shameful.
Like, we don't even need to go on to the fucking gun laws and things like that.
Shameful.
But that is a woman's right, and no one else's.
It's no one else's. No one.
The fact that you think that is your choice, and the fact that you think that is a decision that you can make for the people of your country is just fucking mind-blowing. It's like it's becoming like a dictatorship.
Very much so.
It's a fucking disgrace.
Yeah. And that type of mistreatment of women trickles down, and this is what I'm saying about internalized misogyny. It trickles down from the white men who make the decisions for every single woman living in that country, and it trickles down, and it trickles in a way where someone you work with, an older woman you work with, who hasn't had as many rights as you in her life, which is a shame, a crying shame. She sits there, you're working together, and she goes, oh, so do you have kids? You go, no, I don't think I want kids. And she goes, oh, you'll change your mind.
You'll change your mind.
People don't see how that pyramid at the bottom, other women saying to other women, oh, you'll change your mind. It scales. It scales up to fucking Roe v. Wade. It does.
It trickles down.
It does.
Is the thing.
It does. And
it's the top of the pyramid trickling down to people like that.
Like, and it's despicable, and it's such a shame. And this person saying, oh yeah, I had this idea of becoming a mother, but I dropped it, and then feeling like they can so easily put it on someone else is vile. And that's not even getting into the topic, by the way, of child loss.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to speak on the stats because I don't know them, but we all know someone in our life who has lost a child.
Yeah.
Because of a miscarriage, etc., etc. And to just so blasé.
I know.
You don't know people's lives. You don't know their history.
And the thing is, like, now that you have made this character pregnant, like
against her will,
even if you uncanonize that to it never happened, that person still has to deal with the fact that, you know, like,
you fucking made that decision for them.
Child loss. Yeah. Whether it's canon or not, like, it's child loss.
I know.
And like, I'm not surprised that you had to go and speak to someone because like that's the shit that's what it does.
That is one of the most devastating things that could happen to a woman.
And
it truly is.
100%,
truly is.
100%.
And I fucking hate how like, I bet this DM didn't fucking think a single thing about it. Single fucking thing. Like, and you should. We should all be thinking of each other more than we fucking are.
Yeah.
It fucking pisses me off.
To come to the end of it, and for this dungeon master to say, trying to cancel me.
Shut the fuck up.
But that's it. Say no more.
Yeah, say no more.
Say no more.
Say no more.
You are that person.
Yeah, you're that fucking person. Guy. Yeah, shut up.
You make a fucking foolish, horrendous,
awful,
terrible,
awful,
heinous decision, and instead of just going, sorry.
Instead of trying to understand why you've hurt this person, you just go, I can't say.
Instead of going, sorry. Like, look, fuck me, we all make mistakes. And look, we live and we learn.
And sometimes saying sorry is hard.
And look, you should have definitely learned this lesson before this moment in your life.
Yep.
And I hope that other people do as well. But like, in that moment where you fuck up and you make a mistake, all you have to do is say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. You're right. And then we can go from there. But instead, you took the coward's way out and you said, she's trying to cancel me.
Yeah, wrong.
Fuck off, man. Like, you've literally got no spine. You've got no morals. You've got no, like, it's like you're worthless because, like, you've done something to someone that's traumatized them to the point where they've had to come to you and be like, we need to wind this back because I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
And what you say is, she's trying to cancel me.
Yeah. And
shut the fuck up.
And you know what? Like, that someone said, like, the other week something about, like, oh, I like it, like, you guys, like, you get a bit too passionate and, like, you get, like, a little bit too much and, like, you say, you kind of verge on the line of being toxic to these people. And it's like, listen, I don't have the patience to always be the fucking good guy.
No.
I do not have the lenience in my life to be able to excuse these people's behavior. And I will always put women, specifically as a woman, above all of it. I simply will.
And I think there's maybe, like, you can call it toxicity. What I call it is passion.
Yeah.
And, like, the thing is, for me, like, this, we're going to get into politics a little bit, I think, but this right-wing agenda, this fucking, like, bullshit, this, like, sheeple mentality sort of thing that's going on, like, they aren't going to stop. They aren't going to give you a break. They aren't going to change their minds. So we're going to have to meet it with some sort of resilience.
Yeah.
We're going to have to meet it with some sort of passion. And we're going to have to, sometimes, unfortunately, match their energy.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
loudest in the room is
loudest
heard,
in the fucking room.
Unfortunately. And I hate that is the way it is. I hate stooping to their level. But sometimes I can't always be the fucking good guy. And sometimes I'm allowed to be mad and I'm allowed to be passionate.
And I'm going
to be, because this is my fucking space with people around me that I want to protect.
Yeah.
I needed a second.
Need to breathe.
I needed a breathe.
But it's okay because we've got a wholesome one next.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, we've got a wholesome one. I'm sorry. That went this. You know what? This is going to be so long because that was such a long rant.
It is what it is, and we have to talk about these things.
Thank you, Nabi, for your submission.
Yes.
And I'm incredibly sorry.
So am I.
Also, finally, just to say, yes, leave that table.
Yeah, oh god, fucking gone out of there. You don't need the right time.
You don't need
the
an
right
excuse.
You need to leave.
Yeah,
that's what you need to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that shit's fucking no good.
Absolutely, so wrong, so wrong. And the fact that your DM is like, "Oh, you're gonna cancel me," shows that they don't care.
They don't get it,
and they're not gonna change.
No.
Yeah. Boo. Okay, this wholesome one.
Wholesome.
Jesus Christ.
Please.
We're going to do a big flip-flop here because...
Flippity flop.
I want to warn everyone right now. This
is the one?
So sad.
Margaret messaged me yesterday with her crying and sent it to me while I was at work upstairs, and she was like, just wait for tomorrow.
This is so sad. This cuts me so deep. This is from the Reddit. The last 2 wholesome stories are from the Reddit.
Are you going to be okay?
I'm going to be okay, maybe. I don't know. I'm full of emotions right now. So the title is, I almost made a player cry and it was awesome and horrible.
Okay.
So the players have been trying to reach a certain wizard's tower because it might hold information they need to save the world. In the process of finding the tower, they met a flesh golem called Grump, created by the very wizard that lived in the tower. Grump was looking for an artifact stolen from the tower, so the party figured they'd help him, and in return, he could bring them to the tower. Simple, right?
Simple stuff.
The problem is, Grump is adorably slow. One of the players immediately took a liking to him. This player's character has no real name and is simply called the Gnome. She decided that Grump would look awesome in a top hat, so she purchased one for him. Grump never had friends before, so was a bit taken aback by this gesture, but accepted the hat anyway. The party successfully recovered the artifact Grump was looking for and eventually found the tower. This took a while, however, and during this time, Grump decided that the gnome needed a proper name. Being a bit slow, it went like this. Gnome needs a name. Grump likes hat. Gnome now named Hat. The player loved this and proudly adopted the name Hat the Gnome.
The hat? Like from, what's it called?
Oh my god!
Dr. Sleep.
Yeah. Oh, man. Did you know that was directed by Mike Flanagan?
Yeah.
Oh.
I actually really liked it.
I did too. I love Mike Flanagan. I love anything Mike Flanagan touches. So, story time. The party reaches the wizard's tower. It was, of course, heavily trapped, and inside somewhere escaped experiments and whatnot, but they eventually made it to the wizard's study, where they found what they were looking for. However, a paladin that had been hunting them for a while also reached the tower and was about to enter it, along with a group of mechanical soldiers. Grump, not wanting his friends to get hurt, bravely suggested he'd use his knowledge of the tower and his physical prowess to delay the enemies. Luckily, the group spotted a nearby airship and decided to head to the top of the tower to see if they can get its attention. Through proper display of magic, this was successful, but it consumed most of the last of their spell slots. Mm-hmm. And it would take a while for the airship to reach them.
The airship.
Meanwhile, the party could hear the sounds of combat in the stairwell of the tower growing ever closer. The airship arrived, but there was no sign of Grump yet. They could not leave without Grump. Anxiously, the party waited for Grump to appear. A head appeared from the stairwell. It was Grump. "Hurry, Grump! Join us on the ship," the party yelled. But as Grump moved forward slowly, it would not only became clear he was grievously injured, but Valm the Unbroken, the paladin, stood behind Grump, pointing a sword at his back. The cleric of the group decided to use thaumaturgy to distract the paladin, and due to the luck of the dice, it was successful. Grump shoved the paladin back and ran towards the airship. Unfortunately, the paladin got off a spell and hit Grump in the back with a blast of radiant damage. Grump stumbled and fell off the tower. One of the players quickly used his final remaining spell slot to cast Levitate and bring Grump onto the airship. He was not moving, however, having taken a serious hit of radiant energy. Grump was dying. Grump! Somebody help him! The gnome yelled. "Friends, safe?" Grump asked. "Yes, Grump, we're all safe." "Grump did good?" "Yes, Grump." Very good. Grump was good friend. Yes, Grump, you were the best of friends. And with a slight smile, Grump finally died. Meanwhile, I could read the shock in the eyes of some of the players. I felt like an asshole doing this to them, but at the same time, they won't soon forget the session.
You okay?
No, Grump was good friend.
Grump was good friend.
What the fuck? Even worse, Jack. Even worse.
No.
Someone in the comments wrote a poem for Grump.
There's a poem? Have you got it? Go on then.
I'm so upset.
Do you want me to read the poem?
No. Grump by Zidda's Furry. Slow does not mean weak at heart. Love takes much time, for love is art. Strength in slow beats that go thump defined the golem they named Grump. Courage built from time gained trust, aging like the finest rust. At the tower he showed his worth, in the end he fell to earth. A friend in hat across all time, slow tears of sorrow in this rhyme. Yet this kind soul lives on slowly, not swiftly forgotten, Grump's memory. Who does that? Who does that? Who does that?
Very creative, talented people.
Oh.
Well done, Dungeon Master.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's the saddest shit I've
Sometimes,
ever fucking heard.
Do you want to know what? Sometimes it's actually better to do something like that.
I disagree.
I know that everyone wants to save them, but it wouldn't be the story that it is if Grump had survived.
The amount of comments that were like, R.I.P. Grump.
Yeah, rip Grump.
And the amount of people who are like, that paladin is dead.
Oh my
god. That
God.
paladin is dead. If that
ain't a revenge story.
Oh my God.
But like, you know what I mean? That's what you've just created. You've just created such a beautiful revenge arc.
And just slow Grump, man. Sometimes
slow moving Grump.
It's just the relationships you have with NPCs that just push you over the edge.
Yeah.
And that is so sad. Oh my God. That is just beyond terrible. That's terror. That's terror to me. What do you think? Did you cry?
No, but it was brilliant. It was fantastic.
Is anyone else crying? I'm not.
I imagine so. Let me know if you're crying in the comments.
Yeah, are you crying in the comments?
Cry in the comments.
God, that's...
Oh, I didn't say it. So the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
The Batwolf.
Yeah. Batwolf sucks.
I was like, type boo in the comments. And everyone was like, boo for Halloween, saying boo, boo with the spooky ghost. And then somebody just put, it'd been a few days since the Halloween episode came out, and somebody just put boo, and I was like,
boo!
Like, what the fuck? Boo! That's fucking rude. And then I looked and it was on the Halloween episode. I was like, you weren't booing us. You were just saying boo.
Boo. Oh man, what a beautiful story.
That went hard.
That went real hard.
That went real fucking hard.
That went real fucking hard.
That went real hard.
Oh, R.I.P. Grump. And to this DM, impeccable storytelling.
Rip Grump. Rip Grump in the comments.
Man. Another very completely irrelevant thing. This D&D group have their own like D&D wiki for their campaign, which I found incredible.
Awesome.
And I don't want to say that I want to do the same thing for your campaign, but I just think it would be fun and cool. And they have a page for Grump, and they updated it to dead. Killed by Valm, the fucking whoever. And the Redditor who commented the poem, they've added the poem to like his epitaph. What the fuck? Oh,
good stuff.
Thank you. Well, no, not thank you. You didn't submit it. I found you. But all right. Okay. I'm okay. Do I look sad? Do I have is my makeup all right?
Yeah, your makeup's fine.
Okay. This is the last horror. I'm sorry to have to go back to another horror one after that.
It's fine.
So this has been sent in by James Howlett, and he goes by he, him.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James. The first play... I'm so upset. I'm so upset.
Take a breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. You as well?
All right. Okay. The first time I played D&D was online during the pandemic with a small group. The DM was new and chose to start the first session in a desert and introduced each character one by one as we slowly found one another. We weren't allowed to talk until we were found. This took a good 2 hours and was delayed by the first player using talk to animals and speaking with a scorpion for a good 40 minutes.
Fair dues.
Nice. Nice. The rest of the session was filled with lots of traveling and nothing much happening as we went from place to place without another person in sight. Needless to say, I was bored and didn't want to play anymore. So after the session, I made an excuse that I was busy, but the group should continue without me. A few weeks have passed, and I decided to give it another go because the DM is keen for me to rejoin. The group had leveled up, but I hadn't. At the start of the session, we're in a tavern. The DM describes a witchy character, so I go to talk to them. Unknown to me, the other players had met this villain in a previous session, so they all leave me to it, and they travelled back to a castle they were in last session for an adventure. The witch agrees that she will grant me a spell scroll if I help her pour some potions around the town. I do so, and it takes about 2 hours in real time while the rest of the party solve puzzles and find their way deeper into the castle. The witch then tells me that she had tricked me and I had just watered some plants, and then she disappears. I go back to join the party. When I arrive, the DM advises I've entered a different part of the castle to the group and there's 2 doors in front of me. In the previous session, the party had been told by an NPC which door to choose. The NPC was still with the party and I was alone. Needless to say, I picked the wrong door, tumbled into a pit and fell unconscious. When I was revived by the party after the quest some hours later, we strode out of the castle together, and I was the one who pushed the large wooden doors open to the outside world, and the DM made me roll a strength check. I got a 15 and failed, leading to the door damaging me and knocking me unconscious again. The party went back to the town for some shopping, and then the session ended. It was clear I was being punished for not having played the other sessions. I did not play this campaign again. I disliked D&D for nearly 2 years after this experience, but I did try it again with another group in person and had a completely different experience. I had a lot of fun. I hear it on your podcast a lot, and it's true. Find your group and find your people.
Is this a submission?
This is a submission.
Not from the Reddit, okay.
Man, like, why would you be so petty? Like, this is just boring for everyone, right? Like, this is just shit crap for everyone.
Look, I get first sessions can be slow. First sessions can go a little slow because, you know, everyone's trying to figure things out and stuff, and they're trying to show off the characters. So
naturally.
Look, but the when you go and speak to the witch person,
and they're like, we'll leave it to
see ya, and they just leave. It's like,
come
on. The fact that it was just watering plants and you've just wasted your time.
That's so lame. Like, how could you not feel bad about
punished?
Like, and I think this was online, but even then, how can you not feel bad as a human being
doing that?
Sat there, like, as this one person is completely separated from you and like you're just getting on with it, like, and
then to turn up to the castle at the wrong entrance and then pick a door and then just fall down a hole and be unconscious for like hours,
basically.
like I just feel like as a person, can you just not understand that you're just wasting someone's time, and of course they don't want to play with you, even if you're trying to serve up some punishment because you think you're some like justice giver or whatever. Like, you do realize that you're not like enticing them to play in your game
ever again.
You're not wanting them to come back. You're like, if you're giving out this punishment to be like, well, next time you can join the fun, it's like, why the fuck would they ever come back? What would be the point in coming back?
And it's also like the fact that they were like, the DM was really keen for me to rejoin.
Why?
Like, they weren't, were they? They weren't.
Or were they to punish them?
That's it.
Was it like, come back here, come back, because I just want to fucking dunk on you for the
just
whole
to dunk on you. And then again, it's like, they must have all had a conversation about it beforehand, right? All must have been like, let's fucking...
When they go and speak to the witch,
yeah.
You guys
you go.
head out.
Like,
come on, man. Like, we're better people in this.
Yeah, I don't know how
this.
in good conscience you can sit there and be like, yeah, we go to the castle. I just don't know how you could.
And the fact that you were like, I didn't want to play D&D for 2 years. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised you ever played again.
That's it. Like, these horror stories we get, and so many of them, by the way, are people's first introduction to D&D. I don't know how you would want to come back. I really don't.
Like, why? Why did you go out of your way to invite them back to the session?
I know.
Like, you are such an asshole.
Yeah, that's so
to invite
lame.
somebody back just to punish them. It's
like, come on.
Is that where you get your kick?
Yeah,
is that where you get your excitement in life from?
That's so boring.
You need to find something.
That's so lame. That gives you joy.
That gives you some sort of like, joy in life.
That's lame as fuck.
Because the fact that that's what you get the kick out of is just
lame.
sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
I feel sad for you.
Man, like, how many hours in total was James just sat around? What, 2 here, another 2 here, a few here. That's hours and hours and hours of sitting there doing fuck all.
Look, I'm busy.
Oh my God, we're all old. Jesus Christ.
If you're going to waste that much of my time, of course I'm not going to come and play.
Yeah, man, that's terrible. I'm so glad, though, by the way, that you decided to give it another go.
Yeah.
But, like, imagine if that's people's first experience and they don't interact in the D&D sphere ever again, and they just assume D&D is like that.
Yeah, it's uncanny as fuck.
Yeah, it's uncanny as fuck.
It's uncanny as fuck.
You know what I mean? I bet there are so many people who experience these terrible things, and that's why it's important to include people.
And
make
also
people feel welcome, safe, included, because, like, this hobby would be nothing without other people. We can't do it without other people.
Do it without other people. Understand as well as a newcomer to Dungeons and Dragons that if your first experience doesn't go well or exactly as you hoped, that's okay. That's probably going to happen.
That's probably it's normal.
The probability of that happening is high.
The probability of finding, as James says, your group, your people, first time round from strangers is low. It's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
No way is it impossible.
No, and if you join the Discord, your chances probably go up significantly.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because you will be around people who want you to have a good time with Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, I agree.
But yeah, like, look, I ain't got time for that.
Nope.
I ain't got time for that. And do you want to know what, Dungeon Master? You should probably not have time for that.
Yeah.
You should probably find something in your life that you value more than making people miserable. Because that's just kind of cringe.
Yeah, grow up.
It's kind of childish.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, James. That sucks. Boo!
Well, last one.
That stinks. This is a wholesome one.
Last one, wholesome. Let's end it off. Let's end it on a bang.
Let's end it on a bang, indeed.
My dog isn't happy.
No, he's very upset.
He's pretty upset.
Does he?
Yes.
Yes.
It's lush time. It's lush.
He wants a certain meal. Yes.
He wants middle meal.
He wants the middle meal.
He wants the middle meal.
Yeah. Oh dear, he's crying.
It's when Pippin is asking Aragon for like
second breakfast.
The second breakfast. That's what he's doing right now.
That's exactly what he's.
Yeah. Second breakfast.
11 G's.
11 G's, please.
So this is from the Reddit, and this is how a PC betrayed the party.
And this is wholesome?
You'll see.
Okay.
So, for context, we're all 28. I'm male, and my players, the other 3 players are female. They were all brand new to TTRPG when they began, and I'm so proud of their progress.
Awesome.
The campaign was a homebrew set in the world of a book I'm working on, where they have been tasked with stopping the outbreak of a plague spurred by a disease-worshipping cult. Our campaign just wrapped up after a 1.5 years of sessions.
Sounds kind of cool.
After much questing, searching, and slaying, my PCs made it to the inner sanctum of the BBEG disease cult leader. In the previous session, I had them each receive a vision specific to their characters. The rogue street thief saw a vision of herself using the cult's power to reshape the world into the justice her life never had. The paladin with criminal past saw her god thanking her for beginning the world anew in his image after the plague wiped out most of the civilization. The artificer saw herself gaining the secrets of life itself from the god worshipped by the cult. A big battle ensued, and a resurrected mini-boss that killed a beloved NPC, rescuing friends of the party, and an epic magic item turn took my BBEG down to 1 freaking HP. Of course, they didn't know that, so the bad guy got to dealing. He tempted the party with the power if they turned on their friends to save him. especially from the visions they had seen before. And my rogue took the bait. She approached the BBEG, saying she can finally get revenge on the people who wronged her, put real effective power structures into place, etc. So the BBEG reached out a hand, saying, come, let us go into our new future together. The party is outraged. They call her a traitor. They can't believe she would turn on them and join the cult, and they prepare for one final stand against her and the BBEG. My player says, I take his hand and I cast Shocking Grasp.
Yeah!
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Get him! Get him! Get him!
Yeah. I was flabbergasted. I was a gawk. I was aghast.
You got fooled. You got fooled.
I was equal parts proud and heartbroken because I was excited for the story possibility, but proud that my player took the role playing so deep, she fooled me. Anyway, I was happy to tell her that with 1 HP, she killed him. They got a fun escape skill challenge from a collapsing Lair, and we closed their very first campaign on a high note. Gods, I love this game. And the title wasn't a character betrayed the party. I just said that to throw you all off. It was my player fooled me and I'm horrified.
Man. What this game can do.
Oh, man. I can
hell.
picture it so clearly in my mind as well.
And like they take the hand and then look at the Dungeon Master and they say, and the Dungeon Master goes,
and I bet all the other players are standing and cheering and shouting.
Yes!
And it's that terrible pit of your stomach feeling of, oh my God, they've betrayed us. Of being like the devastation, like the party were all like yelling at her, being like, you're a traitor, you've betrayed us, how could you do this?
I thought we were friends.
They were prepared to fucking kill her.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's
a good one.
That's unreal.
That's great, isn't
That's
it?
Unreal.
That
man.
Were you fooled?
Yeah. And like just the bravery of the rogue.
Oh my God.
To take it to that point. And when their friends are like, I can't believe you do this.
I know.
And they were like, I walk up and I take their hand.
To go through that moment of like heart-wrenching pain.
And everyone's devastated, heads and hands on the table. And then those words come out of your mouth.
I know.
Oh my God. And this is why we love is why we love TTRPGs. This is why we love Dungeons and Dragons.
That's one of the best plot twists.
And the thing is, you'll never forget that moment. You'll be on your deathbed.
Yep.
And you'll remember that moment.
And you know what? What beautiful irony, the BBEG was on 1 hit point. Yeah. Like, you know what? It's a risk in itself just to do this thing.
Yeah,
because like Shocking Grasp.
Brave DMing.
What's Shocking Grasp? A D6?
No, I think it's a D8, but it's an attack roll as well.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
You know, what if you missed?
That's a huge risk. Huge risk.
I don't even know if I would ask for a roll.
Yeah, you know? I know.
If they said I cast Shocking Grasp, I'd be like,
I think you'd just be like, touche.
Fucking hits, you know.
Touche.
It hits and it hits hard.
What a great story.
Man.
What an incredible story.
Oh, well.
Oh, well, that's your wrap.
That's your wrap.
What do you think?
Amazing.
What do you think?
What a fantastic little episode.
That gets me so hyped.
What? Coming in on a 2-hour episode almost?
You know what? It's because we had the big... we talked about Comic-Con a lot in the beginning, and then we had that big rant in the middle.
So, okay, we got to wrap it up because we've got some stuff to do today, and the dog's upset. So... www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Go and pick up some merch with the logo with a back print with Squad Blasters on the back, or the heavy metal t-shirt. We're going to try and get some new ones up before Christmas.
We're going to try.
Because I know that they are good gifts to give, so head over there if you want to get a loved one a bit of Squad Blaster merch. Down below is our Etsy shop. Go and pick up other t-shirts there, spell cards, personalized notebooks, which are fantastic gifts for the holiday season, mugs for your Dungeon Master. Code Podblast at checkout will give you 10% off. Join the Discord if you haven't. The Homebrew Challenge is now closed. Like the video. Hit the bell to be notified when we upload a video on a Monday and a Thursday. Subscribe if you haven't. And for fuck's sake... give me 100 comments.
Yeah, gotta be done.
Do it. Don't hesitate.
Do it.
Just do it. Just write 100 in the comments. Write anything. Don't say boo though.
Boo!
because I'll be really upset. Oh, do write boo.
Boo.
As long as we hit 100. Right. I love you.
I love you.
Bully loves you.
He is very upset with you.
We've been the Eldritch Podblast, and we're going to see you on Thursday. Bye.